let's move on to our mock draft here with the Ravens. And as you can see, we only have 5 selections, gentlemen.
Mm.
This is not ideal by any stretch of the imagination. We can't sugarcoat it. Again, the elephant in the room is the Lamar Jackson deal. We've given ourselves a little bit more flexibility by signing him the franchise tag. I can't imagine Lamar is going to sign it anytime soon. This gives us some time in order to continue to negotiate on that long-term deal, make the necessary adjustments to the remainder of the roster as far as, moving money around for the purposes of getting that deal done. And I think from a structure standpoint, as we're talking about Lamar Jackson's contract, you want to backload it a little bit as much as possible, right? The new money will kick in, but maybe not necessarily, full force until 2024. You understand what I'm saying? Of course, he's expecting a fully guaranteed contract, and I imagine he will get it. It just has to be a palatable number. So, quarterback is not part of this conversation. So, guys, if you were tuning in to see that, I'm gonna do you a favor and let you know now that you're not gonna get that in this particular mock draft. Again, Lamar Jackson to us, is the linchpin of this organization, this offense. So, let's get it started. We have the 22nd pick. So we will see what is available to us at
Yeah.
22.
Yeah,
With the
just like you
spoon
said,
went third overall. Wow.
wow, they're moving up the board. Yeah,
Yeah.
they only have 5 picks, so I think the Ravens have to kind of be creative here and get some additional picks. Maybe get a pick in the second round. Because they have some needs, man. So, a lot of older guys on this roster, like you said. Some guys are leaving, like PP, Justin Houston. So getting a younger edge, another corner, and then helping Lamar Jackson on the offensive side of the football, man. So we need to accumulate some more picks.
Jags are offering us their first plus an
No,
additional fourth.
I,
You don't like it?
I
It's a
want to get
sixth
in
as well.
the second round.
I don't know that we're going to be able to get in the second round. It depends on how far we drop. I think
Hmm.
I think we could target the third round.
Okay.
Um, but if you are looking to get in the second, we may have to give up a third round pick in order to get that second, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So that's a consideration. But let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. We are certainly motivated to trade down.
Gotta do our best, Ozzy, bro. That's what we need to
Yeah,
do.
man. Ozzy, he's still in the building, so
Yeah.
you know we need to do our Ozzy trade down, get some picks, man, and draft ballers. Ravens has done a great job through their franchise of drafting really good. So
And
uh,
developing players.
I
I'd
expect them
agree.
to continue that. Yeah, I expect them to continue that.
Obviously, we got that
Offensive
offer
first.
from Jacksonville, a 1, 4, and a 6 to move up 2 spots. That's not a bad offer. It
Mhm.
really isn't a bad offer. Um, where would you trade down to, based on who's on the board here?
Look at I just want to see what corner
Giants.
looks like
Yeah,
real quick.
I know
yeah.
you
See
want
on
to
the
see the
board.
corners, bro. I know
Cam
you want to see the
Smith.
Gotta
corners.
see the
Deontay
corners.
Banks, Emmanuel Forbes. I like those three guys.
What is Edge telling me?
Van Ness, Nolan Smith. Oh, we got an Ojulari.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three guys I like on the edge right there. About wide receivers, that's a need. Big games, Downs.
Downs, Kayshawn. They can use everybody on the list, right? 29 to 81, bro.
Yeah, there are a lot of players here that obviously the Ravens could use. So I think, given who's on the board, a trade down here makes sense. I don't know that there's a single player that you absolutely have to have. You could probably make the case for a Nolan Smith or Lucas Van Ness.
Right.
But again, with 5, you know, draft picks entering the 2023 draft, and of course the Lamar Jackson deal is going to eat up a large sum of the cap space. You're going to have to count on young players on rookie contracts, really to make a lot of contributions here. And I just don't think we have enough to work with. So let's revisit the Jags at 24 and see if we can
Let's see what
perhaps
they're.
get a third rounder out of them.
All right. Oh,
They're saying we're a little
We've,
too much there. A little too
we've
much
offered
there.
what we've offered.
Yes. About the Giants.
let's see the Giants. There we go.
There we
There
go.
it is.
There we go. I think if you want to get that third round pick, and hell, you mentioned trying to get into the second round. let's see what happens at 25.
Yeah.
The Ravens are not unaccustomed to moving down multiple times within a round. So that is an option available to us. So let's see ultimately what these next few picks leave us with ultimately.
Cam Smith, Van Ness. Those are two guys we're looking at.
Here comes the insults.
Oh man, we ain't getting nothing good, bro.
Nothing. Insult
Nothing
after insult.
good.
Patriots wasn't terrible, but it still wasn't good.
All right, so we'll have to perhaps manufacture something here in order to force our way into the second round. Based on who's on the board, I'm gonna look at the positions that Drew certainly wants to see. Nolan Smith, Keon White, BJ Ojulari are your top edges based on NFL Mock Draft database. And at the corner, Cam Smith did come off, but that still leaves you with Deonte Banks, Emmanuel Forbes, Clark Phillips as the top three there. DJ Turner, Julius Brents had excellent combines, so I imagine they'll get a little bump here in the coming weeks. We can certainly select here at 25, but if we want to explore, adding that second round pick and perhaps coming off one of our third round picks, we can do that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think I like the idea because I'm looking for a weapon for Lamar Jackson in the second round. So I like that idea to maybe come up off a third and getting a second round pick back.
Okay. Let's see.
Who's gonna be? Who's gonna be our
Huckleberry? Exactly. Exactly, bro. We don't want to come out completely out of the first round, so let's get on the line with Cincinnati.
Okay.
And see if a little too steep for their blood.
No, sir.
That'll get it done right there, though.
I'll say 3 spots is the difference, bro. All right, Ravens fan. Before you pull the trigger, Ravens fans, how do you feel about this so far? What would you be doing? Who would you draft at this point if you can't find a trade partner? But it looks like we got us one, so see what it looked like.
And again, we're making this deal. We like a bevy of the players still on the board. We've already traded down once, added a third round pick. We're going to give up a third round pick and trade down a few more spots here in order to add a second round pick. Now, of course, we're making a trade with a divisional rival, so that may cause some to pause. But I think the value, the additional 26 spots that we're going to get as compared between that second and third round pick, I think that's significant. I think that's significant in terms of being able to outfit this roster with guys that we think can contribute immediately based on the areas that the Ravens need to actually bolster. So we'll make that trade and see what happens here. Darnell Washington, Trenton Simpson, Bijan Robinson.
Of course, he went to the Bills.
We're in a catbird seat here. We're in a catbird seat here.
Yeah,
we
I like it now.
We can go with Nolan Smith. You can grab a Deonte Banks, Emmanuel Forbes. Really solid combines from those two corners. Nolan Smith had a monster combine, showing really impressive athleticism. We already liked him, but I don't know that he's going to be available at this late in the first round. Come the actual draft.
Henley, how close is Nolan Smith and BJ Ojulari for you?
Yeah,
I got Ojulari edge 2, Nolan Smith edge 3. I think I graded Nolan Smith. Maybe I think he was a 7.9 in my grade. And this is before the combine. This is just off the tape. I had him 7.9, and I think I had BJ. I think like 8.2 or something like that. So they're really close. I like both players. Ojulari is the better pass rusher. He gets after the quarterback. I think a lot of people are sleeping on him. And Nolan Smith, I like him a little bit better against the run. He's a smaller guy, but he's smart. He's instinctive. He can guard the run. He can drop back in space. I think both of those guys can drop back in space.
Yep.
But if you want that pure pass rusher, Ojulari. If you want the traits guy that could guard the run, Nolan Smith.
So as we look at this, as we take a good look at this, I can't imagine Ojulari is going to be available to us at 60.
Nah.
Right?
Nah.
Nor do I think Banks or Forbes are going to be available at 60. So what's the plan at 60?
Receiver.
Receiver is your plan.
To me, yeah, get a receiver because we got Tom Monken in the house now. We brought back Lamar Jackson. You got Rashad Bateman, Andrews Likely. Those are the two tight ends and the receiver. I think we need another receiver to go with a Bateman, maybe a bigger guy. I'm eyeing Cedric Tillman. I know not a lot of people are as high as Cedric Tillman than I am. I got Cedric Tillman as my wide receiver 3 right now, so I think he'd be a great fit in Baltimore, man. A bigger body, win above the rim. I like him. I like Tillman a lot.
Okay, I actually agree with you in terms of Tillman and the fit. I think that's a really good receiver to target here for Baltimore. So what do we do? What do we do at 28?
This is the conundrum, but I think looking at the rankings, if I'm not, they were like 20, middle of the like mid 20s in terms of pass defense. They're really good against the run, but I think the problem is they couldn't rush the passer.
Right.
Consistently. Let me say
Not
it that
consistently.
way.
And then of course, the bodies were hitting the floor in the secondary. Yeah,
that's true too. That's true. So it's a combination of both things. But if you can rush the passer, not to say you can throw anybody back there, but you can do some things to protect those guys if you can rush the passer. And it's not a lack of trying, not for lack of trying for this, just that things just haven't worked out. Guys haven't developed the way you want them to. So like you had said earlier, Juice. So I think if we're talking pure pass rush, we got to go BJ Ojulari. But I know Nolan Smith is like the darling of the draft right now.
Yeah.
You know
the Ravens fans.
Until the quarterbacks go.
If we draft Ojulari over Nolan Smith,
people gonna go crazy, bro.
They're gonna go crazy. But we like Ojulari over Nolan Smith, and the Ravens need to get after the passer more than stopping the run. So I like Ojulari over Nolan Smith here.
And Headley was saying it earlier in terms of the traits guy. Nolan Smith is that traits guy. We know what happened when they picked the traits guy last time. He's still developing.
I don't think that's an apples to apples.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm just poking. I'm just poking.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Nolan Smith is a better player, period, across the board.
Yeah. I think there's some intangibles from Nolan Smith that I think the Ravens organization would love to have in their building as well.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? Where he may have a little bit more growth. He may not necessarily be quite as far along as BJ Ojulari as a pass rusher. He's a superior run defender. And Ojulari is no slouch in that department. Don't get me wrong, but he's a superior run defender. They're going to value that. They're going to value that. I know they're expecting David Ojabo to take a leap with a full off season, being healthy. You can't give up on Odafe Owe, but again, that was a risk. It was a risk. There was no production from him. You know what I mean? This is a guy who's still learning the position effectively. So my only pushback, my primary pushback here on this is I too have Nolan Smith and Ojulari close. It's the value. You understand what I'm saying? I think you can wait on Ojulari a little bit. We can't get him at 60. We can't get him at 60, right? But if we're picking here, do you still go with Ojulari where you can maybe be able to get him, 4 or 5 picks later?
Well, see, you talking about a trade now?
Well, I just
is that what you're saying?
That's where my head's at. My head's at is the value at this juncture, right? I understand that you're leaning pass rusher, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're leaning pass rusher, but overall, who do you think is a better player, Drew?
It's Nolan Smith. Overall, he's probably the better player. But there's something about Ojulari. I don't know, man. There's something about him, man. But
I'm not mad at Nolan Smith, even though I have Ojulari over Nolan Smith.
Yeah, I'm not
mad at Nolan Smith. I think he fits what the Ravens like. That physical presence. I think he's more of a Raven than an Ojulari. So
I'd agree.
If we're doing a mock draft and we're thinking about what the Ravens, the culture and what they want to build, I think Nolan Smith, they probably prefer him over Ojulari.
Yeah, that's part of my calculus, but the main thing is the value, right? Again, we have a mindset as far as Ojulari is concerned, as far as his ability to affect the passer from the edge. Again, no slouch in the running game. He good motor. He chased things down backside. Some loose comparisons to Von Miller. So there's a lot to like about Ojulari. My thought process is that, again, I think Nolan Smith currently is a better player. We could talk about ceilings, but Nolan Smith is a better player. He's a more complete player. It's the value for Ojulari, right? This is a team that only has 6 selections. If we draft Ojulari here, to me, I think you're torpedoing the value. You understand what I'm saying? So I am more comfortable with the Nolan Smith. That's my perspective. That's my perspective. I think there's a higher floor with Nolan Smith. All right.
Let's grab Nolan.
All right. So Nolan Smith is the pick. I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna stop it right here because we are a few picks into the second round, and I just want to take a look at what's available. Helly, I know you're targeting a weapon for Lamar at 60, but there are a lot of guys, quite a few playmakers out here on the defensive side of the ball, including B.J. Ojulari. Just want to take a quick look, and then we'll get it restarted here. All right, Josh Downs still out there as well. Torrance, Forbes, Branch, Keon White. Up there it is.
He gone.
Ojulari to the Saints at 40. And again, that was my calculus. My calculus was we probably could have added some more draft capital, right? But if you don't want to run that risk, go grab Nolan Smith.
Right.
All right. Some offers for you, Drew.
No.
Wow. Disrespect, bro. That one ain't bad right there.
That's not bad.
That might be a Tillman pick right there, though.
Yeah, that might be.
Ooh,
that's even better.
This is ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
I'm not going to accept this one just for the sheer ridiculousness of it. But this one, I think, is worth considering. I'm going to do it, Headley.
Let's do it.
Don't do it to me. Don't. Come on. There it is.
All right.
No offers, bro. No.
You good? You good off all this?
Yeah, we out, bro.
All right. Okay.
We drafted Headley's number one receiver, Cedric Tillman.
Hit him with the number one receiver.
Yeah, got in with the number one. Somebody's eyes open. Number one. Now you got to explain it, bro. Now you got to
explain it. Exactly. You explain it. You explain why you're as high as you are on Cedric Tillman. He's not necessarily Headley's number one receiver, but Headley is higher than most on Cedric Tillman.
Yeah, and that's watching that 2021 tape. This is the body control that he plays with, the physicality at the top of his routes. One of my favorite things about Tillman is he sells the vertical and he cuts and comes back, and it's just an easy throw for quarterbacks, man. He's going to be right there, and then after the catch, he could make a guy miss. He's not super elusive after the catch, but he got strength through contact. So it's just a different kind of receiver for Baltimore. Baltimore, they fall in love with the Duvernays of the world, the Proches of the world. Now let's get a beast, a grown man in Cedric Tillman, and Jalen Hyatt is a talk in Tennessee, the Volunteers receiver because of the speed and what he did last year. But before Hyatt blew up last year, Tillman was a guy in 2021, had the injury in 2022, didn't really show out because he was hurt. But Tillman, he's still that guy for me, man. He's still the wide receiver 3, not wide receiver 1, but the wide receiver 3 in this draft class for me.
Drew, Rashee Rice is on the board here, man. You're not banging on the table for Rashee Rice?
No, I think I've banged on the table enough. I know Headley was talking about Jalen Hyatt. I know, like you said, that's the talk of the town for the Tennessee Volunteers. And let me just say, if you watch the tape, he caught a lot of passes where, just some confusion in the secondary, confusion at the second level, just some confusion, period, just based on what they were doing. One read throws for Hendon Hooker, and he found them like almost every time. But when you talk about Cedric Tillman, there was a little bit more challenge to the catches that he was making when you talk about this year and last year. So it wasn't just him running wide open. So it's a little bit different. I think there's just a little bit there, a little more there for me for Cedric Tillman. So yeah, I think he's a good fit here, man. Just can I get something that's consistent and reliable at the receiver position, right? And it's not for a lack of trying. Let's just get a guy that we know is going to do what needs to be done in Cedric Tillman and stay healthy.
One of the things that you talked about really early in the process, and we did a video several months ago in terms of preliminary receiver rankings, and you talked about, Headley, the way Tillman is able to sell the vertical route, right, and break it off at the stem and create separation and move the chains. And I think the Ravens, in addition to being able to stretch the field, I think they just need somebody, as Drew mentioned, that is reliable outside of Mark Andrews, right? Still got really high expectations for Rashad Bateman. I think he could be truly dynamic. But Tillman, we talk about his speed, we talk about his ability to get vertical, but just picking up those 6 yards on 3rd and 6, getting 9, getting 8. You understand what I'm saying? By creating good separation at the top of his routes. I think that's something that they desperately need in Baltimore. So Cedric Tillman is the pick. All right. And our next selection is coming at 89th overall, which is actually part of that initial trade we made from 22 with the New York Giants trading down to 25. We then traded down again with the Cincinnati Bengals to 28. We traded up in that trade to get the pick that ultimately turned into Cedric Tillman. Of course, there was another trade at 60 to add a couple additional picks because, again, the Ravens here are starting with only 5 selections. And it's just not very Raven-like, right? You know how much they do. As far as us moving and manipulating the board, that certainly is very much like the Baltimore Ravens. But to only have 5 draft selections entering the draft is a little surprising as far as this organization is concerned. So we've added quite a bit of draft capital here. We've added one of the better edge prospects in the class, as well as a weapon for Lamar Jackson, who we did retain on the franchise tag as we continue to work on a long-term deal. What do we do here at 89?
Look at corners. Julius Brents, Garrett Williams, Darius Rush. Those are the 3 guys I'm looking at. Julius Brents, a guy that showed out at the combine. So did Darius Rush. But Julius Brents got the height. He got the
length,
speed, the length.
Speed. Got good speed. There's some explosiveness. We're talking about a 41-inch vertical broad jump, very explosive, and crazy wingspan, like an 84-inch wingspan from a corner. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then you got Darius Rush, a guy we saw at the Senior Bowl, and he showed out sticky. And then today he capped it off with a ran a 4.3 40, showed the speed. So his athletic testing was just not as good as Brent's, but almost as good as Brent's. And then you got Garrett Williams. He's kind of the forgotten guy. Got hurt last year, but the 2021 tape is serious. He's sticky. He's physical. So it's 3 good corners right there, man.
Drew, who you like?
Corner, Garrett Williams over all others.
Why?
Quick, close, finds the football. He's about that life. I think he fits the Ravens mold. I think if he doesn't get hurt, we're talking about him being one of the top corners in this draft. He was before he got hurt. So, why not?
Is there anything in you that wants to draft this guy right here?
No, bro. Come on, bro.
It's everything in me. It's everything in me. That's a baller.
I just wanted to throw that wrench in there, man.
He's a wrench for everybody, bro. You can't see what he did at the combine, see what he did at the Senior Bowl, and not go back and say, man, I need to take another look at this guy. Even if we got a guy that plays the same position.
And you do.
It doesn't matter.
You're not. It's one of the few position groups where the Ravens have good young talent and depth. Right. You got Travis Jones, you got Madubuike, you got, Michael Pierce still out there. I mean, you got guys. You got guys. He's a little bit different, though.
Yeah, he gets after the quarterback.
And he can do it from – I think he can do it from any of the positions on the line. I don't know if we know lining up at nose. Maybe you do because of the way he's able to at the point of contact with his leverage, his speed, quickness. Come on, man. Why you had to go? Why you had to go there?
These are the hard,
difficult decisions that we gotta make. If we do grab him, what corners you think would be there at 124?
Tre'Davious.
Not
Tre'Davious. Tre'Davious Hodges Tomlinson.
Riley Moss.
I do like Riley Moss.
Who's on the Garner? Anybody else?
Cameron Mitchell.
Back, man. I like Cameron Mitchell. He's a guy that I've been watching recently.
Ja'Cory Bennett had a strong combine. Saw him at the Senior Bowl. We saw that on display, though. The makeup speed, that all checked out.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about adding draft capital, obviously, which we have done. We started with 5 selections. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 remaining. We've already made 2. So we've certainly added some draft capital. It depends on how strongly you feel about these corners as it relates to Adebawore, right?
For me, Adebawore is ranked higher than all 3 of those corners.
I agree.
So if we want to grab Adebawore here and look at these corners and maybe do a trade up to lock one of those 3, maybe that could be an idea.
All right, so let's see. Where is that sweet spot as far as a trade up? Based on what we see right here, perhaps.
Well, we wouldn't be trading up that far to right there.
Well, where? Let's talk about it before we make a decision. Where are we trading up to?
Maybe.
So we're going from 80
in the hundreds.
Where in the hundreds?
Early hundreds. 101, 102.
Okay. All right. We'll let it ride to 100 even.
Just keep an eye on them corners, though. If we see 1, 2 go off the board, we might have to pause.
We'll have to pause. All right.
Gotta pause.
Cool. Adebaware is the pick, and then we're laser focused on this cornerback position.
And a lot of people are. I think a lot of people are late with Adebaware, but we've been talking about him since the Senior Bowl. He is as advertised.
Yeah, the tape checks out too. He's not just a workout warrior.
Right.
When you watch the tape, man, he's played at the edge. He goes inside. He gets at the quarterback. The motor runs hot. He's just a player you want on your franchise. He never stops on any play, and he just always gets to the quarterback or the ball carrier.
And we have some footage that are coming out of the Senior Bowl that we'll kind of put together for you guys here on the channel. That's Couch Potato General Manager on YouTube, and a good interview. Ellie and Drew had an opportunity to speak to him and get into his approach, his mindset as well. So I know he's going to be a player.
I just snuck up on him. He was surrounded, bro.
Yeah,
because he was the darling. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get an interview with this guy, man. But I spoke to him after everybody was gone. I just, you know what? We'll just let me stop. I'm giving up.
Man. What you doing, man?
I don't know, man. Go ahead.
What are you doing? All right, we're at 100 here and 101, and all our corners are still available.
Yes.
So do we push the envelope a little bit more, or do you say, okay, I want that guy?
I believe San Francisco is going to grab one of those corners, just one. I believe that. I don't think the Bears will. Don't think Houston will. It's possible
Arizona would be in
the market.
They would be definitely in
so
the
maybe
market.
We talk with Houston.
Let's talk to Houston.
Let's get on the phone with your boy.
Who's over there? D'Amico?
D'Amico. Yes, sir. All right. So I think we could probably pull off, these 2 4s for the 4th and the 5th. You guys comfortable with that?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right. Oh.
Nope. I must say nope. Absolutely not.
So we won't give up both 4ths. Let's see. Oh, not enough for their taste.
There it is.
We can't do that.
You're gonna get greedy now, huh?
Yeah, I got to push the envelope a little bit. Let me see if I can get that 7th round pick back from them. Yeah, that'll do it. Tyler Scott, Titman, Patterson. All right. Still got all our guys available to us.
That's how you work the board, man.
All right. Y'all hash it out. Which corner is it going to be?
Drew loves Garrett Williams.
Garrett Williams. Yeah, Julius Brents, he's got the size, he's got the speed. That moment of truth is you kind of rolling the dice. You know what I mean?
Get a little grabby. I thought from what we saw in the Big 12 championship, which was kind of up and down, certainly saw some flashes, competed against Quentin Johnston. I thought he was a little bit cleaner in the Senior Bowl practices.
I would agree.
Yeah. I think he's an ascending player.
Darius Rush is a man-to-man corner. Likes to get physical, maybe a little bit too physical. I think between the three, I think Garrett Williams is the cleaner player. I think he is a guy who he can flourish. He doesn't necessarily need to be, a yard away from the receiver at the snap. He can play off coverage and close quickly. I think we gotta. I think you gotta go with him, man.
I'm looking at my Garrett Williams notes, and he was actually in my top 5 corner coming into the season. So I really like him. He can play press, off man. I got a 100% effort guy. Will come up and hit. He'll sell out too to come up and bang somebody. So, we're talking about that mentality of Baltimore Ravens and the type of players they like, man. So I'm with Drew with it. We could get Garrett Williams, put him on the opposite side of
Marlon Humphrey.
Marlon Humphrey, man. And let's run it.
All right, Garrett Williams is the pick. Okay. Got a little bit of a wait
edge,
here.
Receiver. We a little luxury pick with Adetome, but we couldn't pass him up. And got our corner. So, right now, what do you think is the biggest need? I think we might need to add a running back pretty soon here. I know J.K. Dobbins flashed coming back off an injury last season, but we could add a guy. They still got Gus Edwards on the roster, but I think he might be on his last year.
He is.
Because right now, our DBs will be what? Garrett Williams, Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Williams, Geno Stone, Kyle Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the five right there. Yeah. Roquan, Patrick Queen on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think, we got Nolan Smith at edge. The defense looks pretty good, man.
Yeah, solid.
Might want to turn attention to the offense. There goes the running backs right there.
Take a look at them receivers. O-line, tackles, interior.
I mean, some quality depth options here along the offensive line. We got a pretty full tight end room, but, the Ravens use their tight end, so.
That might change this year, though. You never know. Nah, they're going to use them. Let me stop. With Todd Monk in there, you know how to use the tight ends.
Yeah,
I think if I'm not mistaken, Dobbins and Edwards are in the last year of their deals. If I'm not mistaken, Dobbins might have 2 years. He may have 2 years, but I think they're both in the last year of their deals.
Well, you guys there, bro.
Israel.
That's my guy. You already know.
Abanikanda.
Yeah, I already know. If Edwards and Dobbins this is their last year in Baltimore, who's the running back that you want?
Probably Israel. I think he's more of a every down running back, could grind it out, physical. Deuce Vaughn is, although I love Deuce Vaughn, he's more of a guy that, catch the football. You don't want to give him like 250 carries a season. You kind of want to spread him out and like a change of pace guy.
Yeah.
So, it'll be Israel.
Running back seems to be the position that we're leaning in. And Abanikanda, I think, is probably the best fit as far as what the Ravens' outlook will be long term. Just going to be 20 years old. This is a guy who I think his stock will continue to rise as well as we get closer and closer to the draft. So Israel Abanikanda is the pick. I believe he tied for the FBS lead in rushing TDs this past season as well.
Yeah, like 6 in one game. That was versus Virginia Tech, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, either VTech or North Carolina. I think it was VTech.
And you're correct about Dobbins and Edwards done after this year. So running back is
both backs have suffered major knee injuries going to the last year of their deal. Edwards seemed to bounce back a little bit quicker than Dobbins. Dobbins didn't quite regain his explosiveness. Hopefully he does. But even Edwards struggled to stay healthy once he came back. So, I think the injection of Abanikanda, his explosiveness, would go a long way for this backfield.
And I know Eric Gray was on the board, and I know Chase Brown was on the board. Chase Brown got to be able to hold on to the football. He's got to be able to be a better pass protector, catch the football out the backfield. Eric Gray, I like him out the backfield. I think he's a slippery when wet guy. I think he's hard to tackle. He has some work to do in terms of pass protection. I think it's not a want-to thing for him. I think it's a technique thing for him. So I think he might be a surprise for somebody, to be honest with you, just running the football, essentially, or catching it out the backfield. I likened him to Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, I see your boy McClendon Curtis out there. On the interior offensive line. I think the Ravens could use that right now.
What about the tackle position in Baltimore? Ronnie Stanley has battled injuries.
Morgan Moses
is your right tackle. Do you think a Wanya Morris or a Jackson Kirkland could be, the heir apparent to Morgan Moses? What do you think about that from that perspective? What do you think?
Well, I think most teams are looking at Kirkland as a guard. No,
Yeah,
That's true.
they put
That's
him
true.
interior. He
But
got a
it
versatility.
would be Morris. It would be Morris though. Kirkland
right.
offers the versatility to Headley's point.
Wanya Morris. Wanya Morris, the guy I was recently looking at. He's athletic, got good movement ability, pass sets. He loves to mix it up. When he likes to pull, and when he he punishes guys. He punishes defenders. He has a good blend of power and athleticism. But McClendon Curtis, man, he showed me something at the Senior Bowl, man. It's the consistency with him. He's hard to get around or through. I'm more of a fan because Wanya was at Senior Bowl too, and he didn't stand out as much as McClendon Curtis to me.
Sure. Okay. I understand. Zeitler in the last year, his deal. That's something to consider there. So we talked about it. We talked about the fact that Lamar Jackson is going to command a large percentage of the salary cap. They're going to have to draft in a manner in which they can get starter play out of guys on rookie contracts, for an extended period of time. So certainly makes sense if you're thinking about not only 2023, but certainly down the road, 2024, 2025. So, Drew, you on board with McClendon Curtis here?
Yeah, scoop him up, man.
All right.
Let's grab him.
I was really impressed. When they were in the team. I shouldn't say drills, portions. Yes, when they were doing inside run, when they were 11 on 11, I thought that's when he shined. Curtis really, had his best work at the Senior Bowl, and that's truly what it comes down to. The one-on-ones are great, but I want to see what it looks like when you're actually between the lines in a game environment.
And that's more important. The one-on-ones it's made for everybody to win at some point. You got to win. You got to win at some point, but it's not the end-all be-all. If you can't win in team, where that's the majority of where things are happening, then the one-on-ones don't matter. You know what I mean? For the most part. So,
who's still on the board, man? Jackson Kirkland. We talked about a guy like McClendon Curtis, because Curtis played tackle also. He will probably be inside at the next level, but Kirkland's another guy that's versatile, play tackle, move him inside the guard. If you want to double down in the position, I'm not mad at the offensive line.
You got Mo Ibrahim.
He'd be a fit for those guys too. That would be.
Or get Lamar the receiver.
Yeah, I like Puka.
I like Puka
Domingo.
too. Mm-hmm.
Domingo
was a big red zone threat. Wheaton talk about he gonna run a 4-3-4-2. Man, we're gonna see how that looks. But I like Puka big time for those guys. He was doing some work out there at the Senior Bowl in terms of getting separation. He was hurt a good portion of the year this year, so he didn't really get to showcase his skills. But he's a guy you can do some gadgetry. Is that how you say it? With
gadgetry.
In terms of jets.
Yeah, there you go. Gadgetry.
Yeah, with some jet sweeps and different things you can do with him. So he's not just a receiver. So you do have the opportunity if you want to go that route. You looking to go back to corner?
I kind of like Jacorian Bennett. If we're talking about two players on the perimeter, Puka Nacua and Jacorian Bennett, I like in this particular spot. I don't know that either one will be available at 239, but I'd like to get one of those two guys. So I let you guys ultimately decide, but those are the two players I think we should target.
The corner is the more important position. Not gonna lie to you, but
what y'all think about the safety position? Because Kyle Hamilton is a safety, but he comes down and guards the nickel a lot on that defense. Really good in pass coverage. So if you're looking at the back end, Garrett Williams, Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey as the guys covering, and then the safeties will be Marcus Williams and Geno Stone, which are kind of similar players. They're more free safety. Attack the ball, maybe a strong safety, maybe come down in the box and help in the box. I'm looking at something like that.
Talking about
I need Kyle Hamilton to make plays everywhere. I understand what you're saying.
He's that guy.
Yeah. That's what he was billed as. That's what we saw at Notre Dame. I think that, they talk about the athletic testing, and the 40 wasn't great, but I think his instincts, his football acumen, the football speed, the actual play speed is where it needs to be. I think going into year 2, he'll take a step. And then, of course, you got Marcus Williams who could play up high, right?
Yeah.
So I'm less concerned about trying to force the issue at safety And I expect Kyle Hamilton to be more of a safety as opposed to being that big nickel defender. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
He can still play that role. Don't get me wrong. That's what we want him predominantly. But
Right.
I feel good about that trio. The Stone. You got Brandon Stevens to work with as well. He can moonlight as corner and safety. I feel good about Stone, Williams, and Hamilton as the safety. So
you rather draft maybe a nickel corner and then
correct.
make Kyle Hamilton play more of the safety role.
Right. That's my thought process. And I say that because of who's on the board, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that there's someone here that I would take over Jacorian Bennett. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. And Bennett's another guy that could play a corner safety as well. It's kind of interchangeable at this point with these DBs. Yeah, I like Bennett.
All right, Drew.
I knew he was on cutting me. You want me to fight for?
I mean, I'm giving you an opportunity, but
I said it earlier. I said corner's a more important position than the receiver position right now for these guys.
You did.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you did. Appreciate that, J2K, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate the love, bro. All right. So to this point, we've added Nolan Smith, Cedric Tillman, Adetomowa Adebaware, Garrett Williams, Israel Abanikanda, McClendon Curtis, and Jacorian Bennett. I think we've done a good job here, all things considered, right? Again, we started with just 5 selections. We've made several picks. A pair of trade downs in the first round. We managed to add a second round pick by giving up a little ground in the first round. Still get the edge that we coveted. It was between Nolan Smith, BJ Ojulari, but from a value perspective, immediate production, overall prospect perspective, we went the Nolan Smith route, added a weapon to Cedric Tillman. I know, and Helly has alluded to this, maybe not necessarily as hyped as his teammate Jalen Hyatt, but when you talk about complete skill set and what he's done over the course of his career, a larger body of work from Cedric Tillman to this point. I mentioned Adebaware, just a monster, freak of nature. Garrett Williams, I think, again, he doesn't get injured this past season. We're already talking about a very, very talented, very deep cornerback class. He's in that conversation, at the top of the second round, bottom of the first round. He doesn't get hurt. You know how I feel about Izzy Abanikanda. I think the world will find out about him shortly enough. McClendon Curtis, a favorite of ours coming out of the Senior Bowl in Mobile, as well as Jacorian Bennett. So nice balance here on either side of the ball. A little bit more defensive heavy, but there's quite a bit of attrition as far as this roster is concerned, with free agents making their way onto the free agent market. So we have our last pick here at 239. Which direction do you guys want to go with?
You know what I'm gonna say, right?
Grab another receiver.
I'm just go get you somebody fast, bro. Al Davis, bro. Last pick is always Al Davis. Do you Al Davis? You could go get
Trey Tucker.
You could go get where's my guy, bro? I see my guy. Mo Ibrahim. Let's go running back, bro.
We'll go back to the backfield.
Yeah, man.
I don't hate it. What about you, Edley?
Nah, Hedley gonna fight it though. Go ahead,
I'm looking at Trey Tucker from Cincinnati, the wide receiver.
I ain't mad at that either.
He could be Duvernay replacement right there. Helping the return game as well. Special teams.
Yeah, I would agree.
How do you guys feel about Dawan Jones?
Baller.
Oh, beast.
Big, strong,
6'8", 340. He's a monster, man. And he moves well. He moves well for his size too. That's the thing. Guys that big sometimes laboring, can't get to a certain spot. No, day one doesn't have a problem with that. Yeah,
no, you're absolutely right. Too.
Mine's too.
Yeah, I've kind of in my mind's eye, I see Tillman in the Bears uniform. In my mind's eye, and if they were able to add Adebaware, that would be fantastic. It's gonna be tough though. Because
they talking about Adebaware might be first round.
Yeah, he's gonna fly up the board. Yeah, he's gonna fly up the board. And no more secrets. He was on Bruce Feldman's, freak list.
Yeah.
He just confirmed everything about that whole situation. Again, we'll have a video coming out just featuring him in short order, so guys get a little bit more insight into that young player, that young interior defensive lineman. All right. So Hedley, you mentioned Trey Tucker. Drew, you're pushing Mo Ibrahim.
Yeah, break the tie, bro.
You don't go off the rails. Here we go.
Nah. I ain't gonna go off the rails. Man. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it funky though. I am gonna keep it funky. Let's go with Trey Tucker. He has some juice, like you said. Like you said, he's a natural replacement for Devin Duvernay. And maybe he offers a bit more at the receiving position. You know what I mean? I think the Ravens can stand to have more competition, more healthy bodies at receiver. So Trey Tucker is the pick. All right, Hadley, break it down. Break down this draft class.
All right, man. At the top, man, we traded down 2 times from pick. I think we went from 22nd to 25th to 28th. We wanted to accumulate more draft picks because the Ravens got to replenish some of this roster. So at 28, we grabbed Nolan Smith. I know the conversation was Ojulari or Nolan Smith. I'm a big Ojulari guy myself. Pass rushing, I think he might be the best pass rusher in the class. But Nolan Smith's more complete, stops the run. He ran that 4.39. The athleticism is off the chart, so we went with Nolan Smith. I think he just fits the Ravens' mentality more, the physical demeanor. Next up, we drafted Cedric Tillman, my guy, wide receiver, just 2021 tape, wide receiver 3 right now behind Addison and JSN. JSN moved up my board, so I had to move Tillman down to number 3, but yeah, he's a physical receiver, and you're talking about stack. Tillman does that really well, man. Stacking DBs, getting behind defenders, and then Adetomwe. We wasn't really looking at him, but he was falling on the draft class, and we just had to get him, man. We just, the Ravens are pretty strong at defense, interior defensive line. So, but we had to get Ade there. Garrett Williams, a favorite of CPGM Drews. He was one of my top 5 receivers coming into the year. Got hurt, so people kind of forgot about him. But 100% physical player. Will deplete guys, man. Another guy that fits that Ravens mentality. Israel Abaconda, another physical guy that fits the Ravens mentality. Dobbins and Gus Edwards on the last year of the deal. They probably gonna need a running back coming up here. Love Izzy, love the fit. And then we went Curtis, guy that showed out at the Senior Bowl. Ben showed out at the Senior Bowl. And Trey Tucker was at the Senior Bowl as well, man. And he adds an element that could replace the Duvernay return specialist as well. So really like the class here. I thought we addressed a lot of the needs. And we got ballers, man. We got ballers all across the board.
All right. That's going to do it for the Ravens draft class. Do you want that last word?
Yeah, real quick, because I see JTK was talking about Addy, and when Hadley was down there listening to him, he was talking to a couple of people, and one of the questions that was asked of him was, what do you say about teams that are, about your size? And he's like, first of all,
I'm not undersized.
I'm not undersized. Did you see me out there? It was kind of one of those things. Like, did you see me out there? Like, you know what I'm saying? And his size works to his advantage, to be honest with you. And he knows it and he uses it easily. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like it, top to bottom. I think we managed to do some good work here with the Ravens. Really interested to hear what the Ravens fans think of this one, considering that the Ravens are going to have to be busy. They're typically busy regardless. They manipulate the draft board as well as any organization, and I think they're really going to have to pull out all the stops this time around. Everything that Eric DeCosta's learned from Ozzie Newsome, he's probably going to have to pull out of his hat here in this particular draft, the 2023 NFL draft.